It's funny how it can be so difficult to let go of somebody who's used you and abused you so badly. It's almost like if somebody treats you well, then they're neither here nor there. But if somebody got you hooked and only used you for personal gain, that person can be more difficult to let go of. Of course, it's not always that way. But if you have certain types of traumas, then sometimes you're prone to being trauma bonded to somebody like that because maybe they mimic the behaviors and ways of one of your caregivers whose love and affection you never actually got. And when things do break apart, the person who's now without their abuser sometimes can't get through the rumination phase, thinking, are they still thinking about me? Do they want me back? Are they going to hoover me? And it's funny how getting caught up in that mindset, almost dreading the hoover, but at the same time, you need the hoover more than anything else in your life. It's an all-consuming place to be. In this video, I think this video might be quite important, maybe one of the better videos I've done, because I'm going to bring out a certain level of discernment, probably in a way that I haven't done in other videos. So there's a few things happening there. First of all, that recurring remuneration. Are they still thinking of me? Do they want me back? Is it just me that feels trauma bonded, or is there anything that they're feeling in return? Well, the thing is, if you're expecting the person to get back in touch with you, if you're expecting the person to try to bring you back into their life, then obviously that's holding you back from moving on in your own right. So that's not the kind of mindset you want to stay in for a very long time. Of course, you need to get that out of your system some at the beginning. But little by little, you want to work that out of your system and focus on other things. And yes, a lot of times these people just don't think about you. Like they're probably onto somebody else. They're onto a better distraction. They see you as somebody who's too broken, too low potency of supply, so you're not really worthy of their time. But it all comes down to you, really. And sometimes the moment you try to move on, the moment you start to feel better about yourself, you then have an additional challenge, because then when you start to move on from the person who put you into this place of chronic rumination, then you have this additional challenge, which is sometimes they try to get back into your life just so they can bring you back down. But the devil doesn't show its face. They come disguised as somebody who's interested in you again, who has your best interests at heart. You must not forget that when this person would have future faked you at the beginning, and you had this imaginary version of them and the imaginary future you could have together, these people, they do try to create the perfect persona that's just for you, the perfect future together that's just what you want. And they interrogate you very carefully so that they can future fake you in all the right ways. So sorry, that was a bit of a sidetrack. But getting back to the main flow, when you start to move on, when you start to recover, when you start to get into a better place, you're faced with additional challenges, because then these people want to take you back down. And of course, that's also, if you look at that niche point, that's an interesting lesson for your life as a whole. Because whenever you step up your game in life, whenever you find yourself in a better place in life, there's always going to be somebody to challenge you, to try to take you down. And sometimes it's people like family, friends. Sometimes friends don't like watching you move on, because now they don't feel great around you. So they kind of challenge you to see if they can take you back down to their level. And then one might say, well, are they really my friends? And then one might answer, yeah, maybe they're more like acquaintances of mutual interest. But once that mutual interest falls apart, so does the friendship. But going back to your ex-narcissist, they become your challenge when you try to move on. And when you're not moving on, when you're stuck in remuneration, so often what you find is they don't become your challenge, but they don't need to challenge you because they have you where they want you. because they know that you're trauma bonded to them. They know that you're ruminating over them, and that supplies them. So it's a very fickle. I think fickle is a word. I think fickle is the right word. I'm not actually sure. I think it's a very kind of delicate dynamic going on there. But when you do move on, when you do start to focus on things that actually are important to you and things that are of value to you, and focusing on people who are important and more value to you, these people do come back. And a lot of times the narcissist or whatever other toxic person was in your life might think, actually, I do have feelings for this person again. They might actually believe they have feelings for you. But that's just because their emptiness, their kind of competitiveness, it's all getting the better of them. They get caught up in their own emotions, thinking now they have to get back into your life. They might enjoy you for 10 minutes, and then they have to take you back down again. And their challenge is to see how far down they can take you. But if you don't move on, if you're stuck in that rumination kind of mindset, sometimes you don't see or hear from these people for a long time or ever. So that's an important lesson for you to know when dealing with a narcissist, but also life more generally. As you step up your game, as you up level, a lot of people in your life who either were not very present or some even who you thought were your friends who were on your side, they become your challengers. And a lot of people who you thought only had good intent all of a sudden start to show the other hand. And that's one of the reasons why you don't share too much to too many people about your successes. Sometimes, if people must know about your successes, let them see it once you basically already achieved what you wanted to achieve so they can't sabotage it. And toxic people like narcissists, they're going to be your biggest challengers. And maybe they would have challenged you in the past a few years ago when you realized you were dealing with somebody difficult and you broke up with them or they broke up with you. They don't need to be your challenger anymore because you're not gaining anything from it. The only thing you're gaining from them is the experience and knowledge, knowing that A, these people don't want you in your life when you're broken and you have nothing to offer. And B, when you have something to offer anybody else or the world, all of a sudden they do want to come back into your life. But not because they care about you, but because they want to partake in the good things going on in your life. And importantly, they don't want to see you producing anything else of value, and they don't want to see you connecting well with other people. So they take you down. They cut you at your roots. So just know that when you move on from toxic people, when you step up your life more generally, you're always going to have a new devil showing its face to want to sabotage you. And a lot of these people are driven by certain forces that they're not consciously aware of. But it's because your successes and your happiness can present an unfathomable challenge to certain people, where just them witnessing that hurts them too much. So their reactive survival response is to try to take you down, even if they don't consciously realize why they're doing it. So some people's instincts are to attack those who succeed. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one final thing I was going to mention. If you're into quirky AI, artificial intelligence art, then I'm starting to produce some things on my Instagram account. So feel free to connect if you're interested in seeing any of my output. Again, thanks for watching.